7.1.4. Monks, there are these 7 powers. What 7? The power of faith, saddha, diligence or energy, conscience or conscientiousness, remorse or compunction, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. And what monks is the power of faith? Consider monks, the Aryan disciple who has faith. He believes thus of the Tathagata's awakening or enlightenment. Of a truth, he is the exalted one, Arahant, fully enlightened, replete with knowledge and practice, well gone one, world knower, incomparable tamer of tameable men, teacher of devas and men, Buddha, exalted one. This monks is called the power of faith. And what is the power of diligence or energy? Consider the Aryan disciple who abides stirred in energy to be rid of unwholesome states, to take to wholesome states. He is steadfast, firm in advance, nor lays aside the burden of wholesome states. This is called the power of diligence. And what is the power of conscience or conscientiousness? Consider the Aryan disciple who is scrupulous. He feels conscientious scruple when acting wrongly in deed, word and thought, on entering into evil and unrighteous ways. This monk is called the power of conscience or conscientiousness. And what is the power of remorse or compunction? Herein the Aryan disciple is remorseful. He feels remorseful for having acted wrongly in deed, word and thought, having fallen into evil and unrighteous ways. This monk is called the power of remorse or compunction. And what is the power of mindfulness? Consider the Aryan disciple who is mindful, possessing a mastery of mindfulness in high degree. He remembers and calls to mind things done and said long ago. This monk is called the power of mindfulness. And what is the power of concentration? Consider the Aryan disciple who, aloof from sense desires, enters and abides in the first jhana, the second, third, fourth jhana. This monk is called the power of concentration. And what is the power of wisdom? Consider the Aryan disciple who is wise. He is wise as to the nature of arising and ceasing, possessing Aryan penetration of the way to the utter destruction of dukkha. This monk is called the power of wisdom. Verily, monks, these are the 7 powers. That's the end of the sutta. Here, there are 7 powers mentioned. It's a little similar to the chapter of the 5s. We had 5 factors in 5 powers. But here they have added another 2, which is conscience and remorse. Hiri ottappa. Hiri is conscience. That means sort of conscientious scruple when acting wrongly. That means he's scrupulous about doing anything wrong. And then remorse or compunction, ottappa, is the ability to be remorseful when you do something wrong. There are some people, after they do something wrong, they have no remorse. That means they have no ottappa. And then sati or mindfulness here, as in other suttas, is defined as the ability to remember and call to mind things said and done long ago. So sati is when we translate it as mindfulness, that means it is more like the ability to remember. That means to remember, to put our attention on body and mind, and not on the 5 external sense objects of sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. And always to remember that body and mind is not I, not mine, not myself. And if we practice sati, then we tend to see that this body and this mind is not I, not mine, myself, and we remain equanimous, not to be moved by different states of mind. The power of concentration here is defined as the 4 jhanas, and wisdom here is said that the person is wise as to the way of arising and ceasing. That means that person knows that all things in the world arise and cease due to conditions. The next sutta is 7.1.6. Monks, there are these 7 treasures. What 7? The treasure of faith, virtue, conscience or conscientiousness, remorse or compunction, listening, generosity and wisdom. And what, monks, is the treasure of faith? This is as before, so I won't read it. And what is the treasure of virtue? Consider the Aryan disciple who abstains from taking life, from taking what is not given, from sexual misconduct, from lying, who abstains from taking sloth-causing liquors, spirits, wines. This is called the treasure of virtue. And what is the treasure of conscience or conscientiousness? This is as before. Then the treasure of remorse is also as before. And what is the treasure of listening? Sutta, S-U-T-A. Consider the Aryan disciple who listens much. There is a retaining, a storing of things heard, and those things lovely in the beginning, lovely in the middle, lovely in the end, which set forth in meaning and detail the holy life, wholly fulfilled, perfectly pure. All those are heard much by him, retained in mind, familiarized by discussion, pored over, well penetrated by right view. This is called the treasure of listening. And what is the treasure of generosity? Chaga. Consider the Aryan disciple who lives at home with mind free of the stain of meanness, freely generous, open-handed, gladly giving, yoke-mate or companion to asking. He is a cheerful giver. This is called the treasure of generosity. And what is the treasure of wisdom? As before. Verily, monks, these are the 7 treasures. So here there's another set of 7 things which is slightly different from the previous one, and it includes virtue, that means keeping the 5 precepts, and then sutta, which is listening to the Buddha's discourses, and then generosity, chaga. The next sutta, 7.2.13. Monks, not having yet visited, it is not fit to visit a family of 7-fold conduct, nor having visited to sit down. What 7? Pleasantly they rise not, pleasantly they salute not, nor pleasantly offer a seat. They hide it. From much they give little, from choice food they give coarse food. Without respect they give, not respectfully. Verily, monks, it is not fit to visit a family of this 7-fold conduct. That's the end of the sutta. In one of the earlier suttas we read, the Buddha said that there are 4 types of persons that we should be careful in our conduct towards. The first one is the Buddha, second one is disciples of the Buddha, that means monks and nuns. Third is mother, the fourth is father. These are the 4 fields of merit or demerit. So, in our conduct towards these people, we have to be very careful. It is better to be overly good than overly bad towards them. And in the Mangala Sutta, it is stated that the sight of monks is a blessing. So when a monk visits a lay person, the family receive blessings, and especially if the monk comes along on alms round, Pindabata, and then they receive more blessings if they show respect to the monk. They rise up, they offer a seat, they offer food, etc. And here in this sutta, the Buddha said, if this family does not do these things, then a monk should not visit such a family. When they see the monk, they don't show respect, they don't rise up, they don't offer a seat. If they have food, they hide it. And then if they have much food, they give very little. If they have good food, they give poor food. And then when they give, they don't give respectfully. So, if there is such a family, it is better not for a monk to visit them, because when a monk visits such a family, instead of getting merit, the family might create demerit by their conduct towards the monk. The next sutta is 7.3.19. Once the Exalted One dwelt near Vesali at Sarandada shrine, and there a number of Lichavis visited him and saluted and sat down at one side. Then the Exalted One addressed them thus seated and said, Lichavis, I will teach you 7 things that cause not decline. Listen, give heed, I will speak. Yes, Lord, they replied. And the Exalted One said, What 7 things cause not decline? So long, O Lichavis, as you will hold regular and frequent assemblies, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as you shall sit down in concord or harmony, rise up in concord, do business in concord, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as you shall not decree the undecreed, nor repeal the decreed, but conform to the ancient Vajin laws as decreed, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as you shall honor, respect, venerate, revere the Vajin elders, shall hold they ought to be listened to, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as you shall not forcibly kidnap and make live with you others' wives and daughters, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as you shall honor, respect, venerate, revere the Vajin shrines within and without or outside the borders, shall not fail to provide proper offerings as made before, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as proper protection, refuge, shelter shall be provided for Arahants, so that it shall be known that Arahants from abroad may come, and that those there dwell in comfort, growth, O Lichavis, may be expected for the Vajins, not decline. And so long as these 7 things that cause not decline shall endure among the Vajins, and they shall live in conformity therewith, growth, O Lichavis, may be expected for the Vajins, not decline. That's the end of the sutta. The Lichavis are a group of people, a race of people. They are also called Vajins. So the Buddha is teaching them these 7 very important things for any group of people to progress and not to decline. First one, they should hold regular and frequent meetings. The first one, very regular and frequent meetings. The second one, when they meet, they should meet in harmony or concord. The third one, the ancient laws or rules should not be repealed, but they should conform to the laws or rules as laid down from before. The fourth one, they should honor, respect, venerate the elders, listen to the elders. And then the fifth one, they should not kidnap and make live with them other people's wives and daughters. The sixth, they should venerate the Vajin shrines where they pay respect to the Devas and provide proper offerings. It is part of the Buddha's teachings that lay people should show respect towards the Devas, because the Devas have a lot of influence on our lives. And then the seventh one, they should provide protection, refuge and shelter for Arahants, so that other holy men may also come to their place. So these are very important conditions that are practical even today for any group of people to progress. We should practice these 7 things, whether it's any particular race or any particular group of people. These are very important qualities that we should remember to practice. Sutta 7.3.21. Thus have I heard. Once, while dwelling on Mount Vulture Peak, the Exalted One addressed the monks, saying, "Monks, I will teach you 7 things that cause not decline. Listen, pay heed, I will speak." "Yes, Lord," the monks rejoined. And the Exalted One said, "And what, monks, are these 7 things that cause not decline?" So long as the monks shall hold regular and frequent assemblies, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as they shall sit down in concord, rise up in concord, do business in concord, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as they shall not decree the undecreed, nor repeal the decreed, but conform to the decreed rules of training, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as they shall honor, respect, venerate, revere the elders, monks of experience, long gone forth, fathers of the Sangha, leaders of the Sangha, and deem them worthy to be heard, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as they shall fall not into the power of craving which arise in them, the cause of renewed becoming, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as they shall be devoted to the forest dwelling, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as each shall in himself make mindfulness stand up, so that in future the good among their companions will come to them, and those who have already come will feel at ease, growth may be expected, not decline. And so long as these 7 things that cause not decline shall endure among the monks, and they shall live in conformity therewith, growth may be expected, not decline. That's the end of the sutta. This is advice from the Buddha, how the conditions, if the monks practice, then the Sangha will prosper, not decline. The first one is that they should hold regular and frequent assemblies. And that is why the Buddha made it part of the Vinaya rule, that monks should come together at least once in a fortnight to chant the Patimokkha, the precepts, 227 precepts of the monks, so that when they come together, they can meet and be friendly to each other. The second condition is that they must come together in harmony and conduct their meeting in harmony and disperse in harmony. The third one is that they should not change the rules of training. In some other sutta, the Buddha said that the rules of training should not be added to or deducted from. They should remain as they are. And then the fourth is that the monks should revere the elder monks, the Theras, the senior monks, and listen to the advice. The fifth is that they should not fall into the power of craving. The sixth is that they shall be devoted to the forest dwelling. In other words, to live, if possible, in a secluded dwelling, or even if he lives in a town area, to be a bit aloof from other people. And the seventh, to be mindful so that they have metta towards their companions, so that the companions in the holy life would like to come and live with them. These are the 7 conditions. And the next sutta is 7.3.22. Monks, I will teach you another 7 things that cause not decline. What 7? So long as the monks shall delight not in activity, nor be delighted thereby, nor engrossed in the delight thereof, growth may be expected, not decline. So long as they shall delight not in talk, in sleep, in company, so long as they shall not be full of evil desires, nor fall into the power thereof, so long as they shall be no friend, companion, intimate of evil men, so long as they shall make no halt on the way or path because of some partial success, growth may be expected, not decline. And so long as these 7 things that cause not decline shall endure, growth may be expected, not decline. And that's the end of the sutta. Here another 7 things that cause not decline. The first one is they should not be engrossed too much in activity or work. The Buddha said that whatever a monk does, he must spend some time each day to meditate, to cultivate tranquility of mind. there are certain duties a monk must perform, but he must put aside a certain time for cultivation of the mind. Second one is they shall not delight in talk. Too much talk for a monk makes a monk scattered. It's not good, conducive for meditation. Third one is sleep. Also, when we sleep too much, also the mind becomes scattered. And the fourth one is in company. That means keeping company with other people too much also is not good for a monk. The fifth one is not full of evil desires. The sixth is not to keep company with evil men. And the seventh is not to make is not to halt, to stop halfway on the spiritual path because of some partial success. The next sutta is 7.3.23. Monks, I will teach you 7 things that cause not decline. What 7? So long as the monks shall develop faith, conscience or conscientiousness, remorse, much hearing, stirred in energy, mindful, wise, growth may be expected, not decline. That's the end of the sutta. Here's another 7 things. One is faith, saddha, or confidence or trust in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. The second is conscience or conscientiousness, is being afraid to do something wrong, scruple. And the third one is remorse. That means if the monk has done something wrong, to be able to feel remorse for that wrongdoing. The fourth is much hearing, much hearing of the Dhamma. Bahu Sutta is much hearing of the Dhamma, because that will bring much knowledge. And the fifth is stirred in energy, full of diligence. The sixth is mindful, or mindfulness. The seventh is wise, wisdom. The next sutta is 7.3.24. Monks, I will teach you another 7 things that cause not decline. What 7? So long as the monks shall develop the factor of enlightenment, bojjhanga, that is mindfulness, the factor that is Dhamma investigation, Dhamma vichaya, the factor that is diligence or energy, delight, piti, tranquility, concentration, equanimity, growth may be expected, not decline. These are the 7 factors of enlightenment which are important for a monk to develop qualities on the spiritual path that conduce to enlightenment. First one is mindfulness. The second one is investigation of the Dhamma, to ponder over Dhamma that has been learned. Then the third one is diligence or energetic striving. The fourth one is delight, piti. This piti is attained only when a person's mind becomes one-pointed, concentrated. And the next factor is tranquility, and then concentration, and then equanimity. So these are the 7 factors of enlightenment. I'd just like to comment here that you see the mindfulness, sati, is one factor, and then concentration, samadhi is a different factor. These two must not be confused, they are not the same. So mindfulness has to be developed, but concentration, one-pointedness of mind or jhanas also have to be developed. The next sutta is 7.3.25. Monks, I will teach you 7 things that cause not decline. What 7? So long as the monk shall develop the perception of impermanence, of not-self, of loathsomeness, of danger, of renunciation, of dispassion, of cessation, growth may be expected, not decline. Here's another 7 factors. First one is perception of impermanence, that everything in this world is impermanent, and that helps us to have a sense of urgency in life, to practice a spiritual path. And then the next one is not self, the perception of not self in this body and mind, to always remind ourselves that this is not I, this is not mine, this is not myself. Then perception of loathsomeness of the body or unattractiveness of the body. That is to help us cut lust for the body. Then the fourth one is danger, adinava, danger in life, since life is impermanent, that any time death may come, any time we may fall sick. So we always remember that. Then the next one is pahana, renunciation. If we are interested in the spiritual path, we slowly let go of our attachments. The next one is viraga, dispassion with the world. As we grow older, we tend not to get so excited about things in the world. When we are young, we tend to have a lot of passion, a lot of excitement about the world. And as slowly as we taste all the things in the world, slowly we learn to be dispassionate. Then cessation is the nirodha, ending of everything. Everything that arises must cease. So it's like death also. So it's something we have to remember. The next sutta is 7.3.27. Monks, these 7 things lead to a lay disciple's decline. What 7? He fails to see the monks, neglects to hear Saddhamma or true Dhamma, trains not in higher virtue, puts little trust in junior, middling or senior monk. With a critical mind seeking faults, he hears Dhamma. He seeks a gift worthy outside the Bhikkhu Sangha. He serves first outside the Bhikkhu Sangha. Verily monks, these 7 things lead to a lay disciple's decline. That's the end of the sutta. These 7 things, first one is he fails to see the monks, regularly to get advice to learn the Dhamma. The second one, he neglects to hear the true Dhamma, the suttas. He's not bothered to hear the discourses of the Buddha, and because of that he does not learn the Dhamma, does not get wisdom. The third one, he trains not in the higher virtue. He does not train in the precepts, in the higher moral conduct. The fourth one, he puts little trust in monks. The fifth one, with a critical mind seeking faults, he hears the Dhamma. Instead of having trust or confidence in the Buddha's Dhamma, he looks for faults in the Dhamma. The sixth one, he seeks a gift worthy outside the Sangha. That means he looks for, instead of monks to make offerings to, looks for outside the Sangha to give offerings to. And the seventh, he first serves outside the Sangha. Instead of serving the Sangha, he serves maybe external sect, followers, etc. So these are the conditions that lead to a lay disciple's decline. Hearing of the Dhamma is very important, because whenever we hear the Dhamma, we get guidance. It's as though the Buddha were by our side to guide us. The next sutta is 7.4.35. Monks, let a monk cultivate a friend whose ways are 7. What 7? He gives what is hard to give. He does what is hard to do, bears what is hard to bear, confesses his own secret, keeps others in want, forsakes one not, despises not when one is ruined. Verily monks, let a monk cultivate a friend whose ways are such. That's the end of the sutta. Here this is advice to a monk to look for a friend with these qualities. But it also applies equally to lay people. If you want to look for a friend with these qualities is a worthy friend. One, he gives what is hard to give. And then he does what is hard to do. Then he bears what is hard to bear. And then he confesses his secret to you. And then when you confess your secret to him, he keeps your secret, he doesn't divulge it to others. And then when you need him, he does not forsake you. Sometimes when we are down and out, we need a friend. A good friend will still come to you when you are down and out. But not a good friend, when you are down, he will run away. Then the last one, he despises not when you are ruined. When you are down and out, he does not despise you. He still looks to you as a friend. But most people, when you are down and out, they run away. Then the next sutta is 7.4.38. Monks, endowed with 7 things, a monk makes the mind turn according to his wish, and turns not by the mind's wish. What 7? Herein, monks, a monk is skilled in concentration, skilled in attaining it, skilled in maintaining it, skilled in emerging from it, skilled in the well-being of it, skilled in the range of it, skilled in applying it. Verily, monks, endowed with these 7 things, a monk makes the mind turn according to his wish, and turns not by the mind's wish. Monks, Sariputta is so endowed, and acts thus. That's the end of the sutta. This sutta is trying to tell us the importance of samadhi, concentration. When we have concentration, then we make the mind turn according to our wish. And we are not turned by the mind. The mind is always flighty, always changing. And the mind is always subject to moods. And if we don't have a strong concentration, our moods are always turning us and makes us very uncomfortable. And most people tend to follow the mind because their mind is not concentrated, not tranquil. And then to cultivate a skill in concentration, there are many ways in attaining the concentration, maintaining it, emerging from it, applying it, etc. The next sutta is 7.4.39. One morning, while the Exalted One dwelt near Savatthi and Anathapindika's park in Jeta Grove, the Venerable Sariputta robed himself early, and taking bowl and robe, entered Savatthi for alms. Now the Venerable Sariputta thought thus, too soon still is it to visit Savatthi for alms. What if I were to go to the park of the wanderers of other views? And he approached their park, and having come, greeted them, exchanged the usual polite talk with them, and sat down at one side. Now at that time, this remark by chance arose among them as they sat assembled. Reverend sirs, whosoever lives the holy life in its fullness and purity for 12 years, it is right to say of him, the monk is praiseworthy. And the Venerable Sariputta neither praised nor scorned their words, but got up and departed, thinking, I shall learn the truth of this talk from the Exalted One. Then when he had gone his round for alms in Savatthi, and returned, and eaten his meal, he approached the Exalted One, saluted and sat down at one side. And so seated, he told the Exalted One all that had occurred, adding, Is it possible, Lord, in this Dhamma Vinaya, to declare a monk praiseworthy just merely on the score of years? No, Sariputta, it is not. These 7 grounds for praise have been taught by me, who have realized the matter by personal knowledge. What 7? Consider the monk who is keenly eager to undergo the training, and whose zeal wanes not in the days of his training, who is keenly eager to observe Dhamma, and whose zeal wanes not in the days of his training, to discipline desire, and whose zeal wanes not in the days of his training, to go apart, and whose zeal wanes not in the days of his training, to put forth energy, and whose zeal wanes not in the days of his training, to master mindfulness, and whose zeal wanes not in the days of his training, to attain right view, and whose zeal wanes not in the days of his training. Verily, Sariputta, these are the 7 grounds for praise taught by me, who have realized the matter by personal knowledge. Indeed, Sariputta, if a monk possessed of these 7 grounds live the holy life in its fullness and purity for 12 years, it is right to say of him, the monk is praiseworthy. If he lived the holy life for 24 years, for 36 years, or for 48 years, it is right to say of him, the monk is praiseworthy. That's the end of the sutta. So here the Buddha is trying to say that a monk is not only praiseworthy because of the seniority, the number of years he wears the robe, but there are other qualities which would make a monk praiseworthy, that he is keen to train in the holy life, and then his zeal or his diligence does not lessen as the years go by, and then he observes Dhamma, or he lives his life according to Dhamma, and he carries on the same way as the years go by, and then he disciplines his desire, and as the years go by he does not lessen his discipline, and then he goes apart, or he is a bit aloof from others, and his zeal wanes not as the years go by, and then he is diligent, he puts forth energy, and he carries on as the years go by, and then he masters mindfulness, and he attains right view, etc. And the important thing is that he continues in that same way, diligently, year after year. Sometimes a monk may have a good start, but there are some monks, they have a bad ending. They disrobe, or they break the precept, and then they are forced to disrobe, etc. So if a monk has these qualities as well as seniority, then he is praiseworthy.